Okay, so as many of you can see, the name of my channel is the Save Money and More with Jan channel, right? Well, most of the time I talk about ways to save money. Today we're going to talk about the and more part. What? What am I talking about? Back in a minute. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Hi, this is Jan from New York City. I truly love helping people to save money, but I also like to talk about some other stuff as well. Years ago, I mean, to me, there is no dispute about it. Years ago, people practiced better manners. Just saying the truth. It's the way I was raised. Just saw a lot of good manners growing up. And honestly, okay, don't get me wrong, I am 65, okay? So there was a lot of time that lapsed between then and now. But who's to say that there's something wrong with having good manners? And I think good manners are really important because, to be honest with you, good manners really come from kindness from the heart. That's how good manners originated, honestly. So let's talk about some of the things that I personally wish would make a comeback. I'm kind of reminiscent about it. All right. Number one, this sounds so basic, it's not even funny. Saying please and thank you. How many times has somebody just abruptly like barked out an order to you, if you will, without I mean, it just sounds so weird. It just sounds so thoughtless. It just sounds so harsh and cruel. Remember please and thank you? I'm just saying. Just like little things like that. Saying please and thank you. Who tends to agree with me on that one? Let me know in the comment section below. Thanks. Excuse me. Next. How about for the folks that don't notice that there might be an elderly senior citizen or a disabled person on a bus or a subway? They're a young and able-bodied person. When I was younger, I used to jump up without anyone telling me if I saw a senior getting on the bus. If I saw a disabled person getting on the bus and the disabled seats were filled, I would give up my seat. I wouldn't blink an eyelash. I would jump up and give up my seat. That's just to me, that's just a common sense, courteous practice. Yes, I do miss these things. I do. Now, some people do it. I'm not saying no one ever does it, but I wish there were more folks that did that. Next, stop assuming that everyone is okay. Let's say a person has a large pet of some sort, no matter what the pet is, doesn't matter what the pet is. And they're standing there with their large pet and they permit that pet to jump all over you. You might be wearing $1,000 suit, or you just don't like the idea of some pet, jumping on you that has been walking around the street. Ask the person. You may love your pooch, and that's okay. I'm just using pooch as the example. You may love your pooch, and God bless you, and that's wonderful. But keep in mind that a total stranger may not be receptive to the same kind of feeling that you have about your animal. Some people do not want your pet jumping all over them. Good manners means ask first if it's okay. I'm just saying. And if it happens spontaneously, apologize to the person right away. Some people don't like it. They don't like it. I'm just saying the truth. All right. So let me just turn the page. Hold on. Next, I didn't want to miss a beat, so I indicated it. I wrote them down. All right. Don't cut in front of other people waiting on a long line first. Now, I have totally experienced this situation. My mom and I, we were going Christmas shopping, I don't know, about 15 years ago. It was a cold day. We went to the store before it opened. We waited outside. We went online, did everything right. It was time for us to check out. We were standing on a long line to check out after waiting on the long line to get in and shop. And, we did we had to do. My mother was getting on in years. She required a cane. She didn't have the greatest vision. I was there with her. We were just standing there in our turn. And this person just boldly, from way back of the line, boldly pushed her way in front of the person that was in front of us. And the cashier did nothing about it. Nothing about it. So when it got to our turn, I said, "Did you not notice that that person was darting from the back of the line?" And that person that darted ahead heard me. So I turned around and I said, your time is not more valuable than other people's time. Everybody's time is equally as valuable. That person was clearly rude and it was just wrong. I mean, everybody had to wait their turn. And so too, waiting in turn is part of good manners and thoughtfulness. Just saying. Um, not returning phone calls or emails or messages in a timely manner. Now, sometimes in life, there are things that cannot be answered right away immediately. I get that. But if you're aware that somebody left you a message and maybe 1 or 2 days goes by and still no acknowledgement, even if it's 2 sentences, even if it's 3 words, acknowledge it because it's just wrong. In my opinion, it's just wrong on all sorts of levels to be negligent in that area. So, returning a message, returning a phone call as best as possible as soon as you can. Now, don't get me wrong, things have changed greatly since 65 years ago. 65 years ago, a person mailed a letter to a friend, and hopefully 4 days later they got it. These days, we're bombarded with emails all day, text messaging, endless phone calls. I get it. So we are, in a way, in different ways, more challenged in the communications arena. But even if the acknowledgement is short, make the acknowledgement, say it, and just deal with it. To me, that's better manners and makes things go more smoothly. Just saying. Uh, Next, people that argue in front of their kids loudly. Can you imagine like being a kid and watching, two grown-ups screaming at each other all the time? I don't think that's good. I don't think that's good. Back in the day, parents really didn't do that often. If they had a little disagreement, they would make sure the kids weren't around, or they would step away somewhere. I'm just telling you the truth. This is what people did many times. Not all the time, not 100%. So I don't want to hear anybody say, oh, that didn't happen to blah, blah, blah. Many times. Nothing here is 100%. Okay. Everything here is relevant, subjective to the situation. But what I wish would make a comeback, grown-ups who should know better than scream loudly and stuff in front of their children. To me, it is not a good thing. I think it is a very devastating thing for children to hear that. I'm just saying, just saying. Next, not saving a little bit of money in the house for a rainy day. Now, that's an old fashioned frugal habit. Now, you know that's my arena, right? Talk about frugality all the time. So, this type of video might be a little bit of a break from frugality, but this frugality point I did not want to bypass. I totally agree. Everyone should keep a little rainy day fund in their house or apartment. I'm not saying a gazillion dollars. I'm saying X number of dollars to keep on hand, just to keep on hand for a rainy day. Put it away and forget about it. Don't forget where it's located, but forget about it and maybe add to it a little bit at a time every week. I'm telling you, this is what the older folks used to do back in the day. That was just a normal thing. Some people used to call it pin money, okay? Pin money because they would pin it to their shirt. Some people back in the olden days used to do it. I think it's a common sense practice. Put a little bit of money away in your home or apartment for a rainy day. You just never know. So I wish that would make more of a comeback. And finally, for today, because believe me, I could go on and on, maybe a list of another 20 or 10. All right. But finally, for today, might go back and do part two in the future. But for today, I wish would make a comeback. People checking on and calling their elderly friends, relatives, especially check on their grandparents, check on their senior citizen parents. We're not here forever. We're not here forever. Some people think we're here for an unlimited amount of time. Not true. And how many times have you heard someone lamenting, gee, I wish I would have called them more often. Gee, this, gee, that. Well, now's the chance. Now's the chance. There's no excuse. If it's been long overdue to call an elderly friend or relative that matters to you and is important to you, you meant to. Many times people mean to do a lot of things. But in this fast paced generation, and don't get me wrong, I acknowledge this fast paced generation, I live in it. Even though I'm a senior, I still live in this generation. So I do get it. I see that. But if we can make the time to make those phone calls, and nowadays with video chatting, I mean, really, I believe it would brighten up someone's day. I'm just saying. So, like I said, old fashioned good habits like these, good manners, come from where? They come from a place of kindness in the heart. Why don't we bring some more of that around? Right now, we live in a chaotic world. We need to calm it down a little bit. And I really do think that good manners can help.